All right, good afternoon, boys and girls. We're on lesson 110. That means we only have 10 more lessons to go after this, so pretty exciting. All right, multiplying decimal numbers using zeros as placeholders. It's very similar to yesterday's lesson. Your objective today is to multiply decimal numbers using zeros, and very easy. Anyway, there's no vocab today, but for the purposes of me checking on your homework, or Ms. Cooley checking on your homework, is to write down 3 Confederate states and 3 Union states in the vocabulary spot. Here's your math joke. Why did the teacher write the lesson on the windows? Because he wanted to be very clear. All right, here's your new concept. So when we're multiplying decimals, okay, you're going to follow the same pattern as you did yesterday. We're going to multiply like you do normally, which is 3 times 3, and it equals 9. 3 times 0 is 0, and you end up having a 0 here, and 0 times anything is 0, so we don't do that portion. But so when you do 3 times 3, and then you do your decimals, you count your decimal spaces. So multiply like normal, then count your decimal spaces. We have 1 here and 1 here. Okay, so that's 2 decimal spaces. So you start from the right, like you did yesterday, and then move over twice. So 1, 2. Now we have this huge space when there's nothing here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a 0 in that space. So it's going to be 0.09 here. All right, and so that's going to be 9 hundredths, right? If you look here, if we did them as fractions, 3 tenths times 3 tenths, you would still get the same. 3 times 3 equals 9, 10 times 10 equals 100, 9 hundredths is our answer for this. All right, so the steps that you need to take: you multiply like normal, count your decimal spaces. From the right, you move it over however many decimal spaces you have. You don't count the whole numbers, okay? So there's only 2, and then move it over twice. And whatever you have left over, any empty spaces, you add in your zeros, okay? Here's our example number 1. All right, 0.112 or 12 hundredths times 3 tenths. And so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply like normal. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. We're not going to do our zeros because zeros obviously will end up being a 0 when you multiply. Then we're going to count our decimal spaces. We have, from here, we have 1, 2 spaces here for the tenths and the hundredth spot, and then we have 1 space here for the tenth spot on this number. So that's a total of 3 spaces. So I'm going to start from the right. I'm going to move over 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. We're going to have an empty spot here. So we add in our 0. All right, so our answer would be 0.036. All right, here's our lesson practice. Very simple. Remember, you need just to count your spaces, multiply like normal, and then count your spaces over. Okay? And then you should have all the answers that you need. Remember, area is length times width. And for these ones, you might be able to do them in your head, but make sure you count the spaces first. I suggest to write them out like this, because this way you don't make as many mistakes as if you just did it in your head to show your work. All right, any questions, write those on the back. Have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you soon.